What's going on, everyone? Hope you're all doing well. Today I'm going to be filling out my bracket for CDL Major 1, our first major of the season. So this is super exciting. Make sure to let me know down in the comments who you think is going to play in the finals and who you think is going to take this whole major. I'm sure there's going to be a whole slew of answers. We have so many teams that could possibly do it. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Most of my viewers aren't subscribed. I think like 80% of the people who watch my videos aren't subbed. So make sure to subscribe and drop a like. Let's see if we can get 3 likes on this video. And with that being said, let's just hop right into this bracket. As you can see, my prediction score is currently 15 out of 30. You can see that under my webcam. Shooting 50%, absolutely awful. Last year I was doing way better. This year's a lot harder to predict. When it comes to this score, I'm only gonna be doing the regular like season matches. I won't be doing the bracket stuff. I could technically do this first winners round because we know the matchups. But let's say I pick, you know, FaZe to beat Breach, and let's say Breach wins, right? Then FaZe would drop down here, but I would have Boston down here, and it would mix up everything, right? Because I would have no matchups correct if I, you know, get one of these wrong. So we're only gonna be doing those regular matches. So this is gonna stay at 30 overall for this, and we'll only do the weekly matches. Let's just kick this off. FaZe versus Breach. I think this will be pretty solid. I'm going to give it to FaZe 3-0. Breach could take the SND, but they haven't looked amazing in SND in their last few matches. So I think it's going to be pretty quick and easy 3-0 for FaZe. Then we have OpTic versus Seattle, and this is going to be a really good series. We saw Seattle on LAN at the kickoff do really well. We know OpTic has started to do really well in their recent matches online and secured themselves its winner spot. OpTic always seems to disappoint me when it comes to the first round of any of these tournaments, so it's really, I don't know if I want to pick them and put them on into winners round 2, because honestly I feel like they could totally just lose here. That's what they usually do. They usually drop the losers like right away. That's what they've done the last few years, and then they make a little bit of a run and they end up like top 5, top 4, and they lose. So I'm not really sure how I want to do this. Honestly, I think I'm still going to go OpTic just because of recent form. OpTic's looked really good, and Surge has honestly looked pretty bad. I think OpTic will take this 3-1. Surge will probably get a map, and they might take like the Search and Destroy, or maybe one of like the hard points. But OpTic's a really good control team, so I think I'm going to give OpTic to 3-1. Then you have London versus LAG. This is a tough matchup because you got a team like London who's looked really good online, and you have a team like LAG that's got a lot of veterans that has looked okay online, but also has a ton of LAN experience, right? So this could really go either way. I'm gonna go London simply because, you know, we're basing it off this season, right? Just because LAG has a lot of veteran experience doesn't mean that they're gonna channel that and become amazing, right? So I still think London's gonna take this. I feel like this will be close, maybe 3-1, maybe 3-2. I'm not really sure. Both these teams are really good. They both are aggressive teams, fast-paced play. I'm gonna go 3-2. I'll give it to 3-2 in favor of London. I definitely think London's a better S&D team, so I'll give them the victory in the game 5. And we have LA Thieves versus Toronto, a rematch of what we just saw in the last week 3 of the qualifiers for this major. I do think this is going to be a good match. I'm not really sure because honestly I think this could go either way, but I'm going to give it to LA Thieves. I think this is going to be a 3-2 as well. I think LAT will take this though. Toronto will probably I bet you Toronto will take the first SND and the control. LA Thieves will take the 2 hard points, and then LAT will clutch up in the game 5. Now we move into elimination rounds. We're starting off with round 1. Starting it off with round 1. Boston versus Florida. I do think this is a solid series, right? These are 2 teams that I think are, you know, right in that little bit after middle of the pack, you know, right around that 8th spot. It's definitely, I think Boston's a better team, but Florida can really surprise. So I'm not really sure who I think will take this. I feel like this Florida team can be really surprising. Same thing with Boston. I mean, Boston's currently got a 10 and 12 map count. Florida's got an 8 and 10 map count. So both of them are, you know, 2 under 500 for their map count. But Boston is better at hardpoint and search and destroy, and Florida's better at control. So I'm gonna give it to Boston just off of the statistics. I think Boston is just a better squad. I'm gonna give them the 3-1. It's tough to give Florida the loss, but they're so unpredictable. I don't really know. I feel like Florida is a team that can come out and beat just about any squad, whereas Boston, I feel like their ceiling might be a little lower than Florida's, but I'm gonna give it to Boston in 3-1. We have Seattle versus Paris. You know, even with Paris's team change that they look like they're doing, I mean, they dropped Desi officially. They're apparently picking up Tom Gravity, I believe, and I don't really know the whole situation. I'm not sure if Jimbo's getting picked up or what the deal is with that, but I still think either way, Seattle will probably 3-0 them. Maybe this Paris team can pull out a map, but Seattle's definitely gonna win the series. I'm just gonna give them the 3-0. Then we come on down to LAG versus Rocker. Now, this is a series that we have seen before. We saw Rocker face off against LAG recently, where Minnesota won it 3-2. This is one of those series where I thought LAG was going to win. Minnesota obviously ends up taking this 3-2. It's one of those things where like LAG is so much better at respawns and Minnesota is so much better at search and destroys. So it's really like which team is going to be better at the thing that they're not that good at typically. So it's really tough to pick. I feel like this probably goes game 5 most likely. This could be one of those things where LAG just comes out and wipes the floor with them in like, you know, in like 3 respawns and just 3-1s them, maybe even 3-0s them if they get a good search and destroy. So it's definitely tough, and I'm honestly not sure who I would pick. I lean towards LAG just because I think that team has more, it just has like a little more talent on the squad, but Minnesota obviously has better teamwork and has beat them in the past and proven me wrong in that aspect. So I'm not really sure. I feel like LAG or Minnesota could be a dark horse in this event. I believe LAG gets to choose the control map, I think is how this will work, because they're technically a higher seed because they started in winners round. So I feel like they're going to get to pick to control, and honestly, for that reason, I think they're going to win this. I think them getting to pick what control map they play will help them get this victory. I think Minnesota will probably take the search and destroy, but I'm going to give it to LAG 3-1. Might be bold. You know, Minnesota could end up just running the bracket and getting it to like elimination round 4, and it'll screw up everything for me, but I'm going to give it to LAG for this series. We have Toronto versus Subliners. This could be interesting, right? Subliners definitely has upset potential, but either way, I still think Toronto take this. I'll give NYSL a map. I'll give them a 3-1, but I mean, they haven't won a hard point, so Toronto will definitely win both hard points. NYSL might be able to squeak out the search and destroy, but even at that, Toronto's a really good search team, or they typically are. Honestly, this year they haven't looked amazing in search, but I still think it'd be a Toronto win no matter what. So I'll give NYSL one of the maps, make it 3-1. Let's do elimination round 2. We have Boston versus Surge. This is a matchup I think that could be really, really good. I'm gonna give this to Surge for sure. 3-1 or 3-2. I'm not really sure which one I want to do. It could even be 3-0, right? You never really know. I'm gonna give this to Surge as a 3-2, I think is what I'm gonna do. Boston is a good SND team, but so is Surge. They're probably the best SND team possibly. So I'm gonna give that to Surge. I think this is gonna be really good. Also, this match is at 9 p.m. on Friday. So definitely don't expect to see any British people watching this, anyone out in the UK or Europe. That's a late match to start, but I believe this is 9 p.m. my time, which is Eastern, so it's really only 6 p.m. Pacific, you know, whatever they are at Central, 7 in Texas where this will be. But either way, let's just scroll on down to LAG versus Toronto. I think this will go to Toronto. I'm going to give this a 3-2. I think LAG will really give Toronto the work in one of the hard points, maybe even both hard points, but I think Toronto's teamwork will prevail and give them this victory in a game 5. We go back up to winners where we have Atlanta FaZe versus OpTic. It should be a good series. I do think FaZe will win this. I think it'll be probably, I mean, it depends. If OpTic beats Seattle like I predict, I think they'll come out strong, but I still think they'll lose. Either way, I still think they're going to lose to FaZe. So I still think they could come out strong. But I always overestimate OpTic, right? I always am like, oh, OpTic will win this, they lose. Oh, OpTic will lose 3-2, they don't win a single map, right? Like, I feel like I always overestimate OpTic. So for that reason, I'm gonna give them a 3-1. Yes, this is like their major. They're gonna have a ton of fans. No matter where they are, they're gonna have a ton of fans there. But I'm just gonna give it 3-1. I'm gonna play it safe. They could go 3-2, but I feel like FaZe will win it either way. Then we come down here to Ravens versus Steves, which I think could be a really crazy series. This is one of those series that I think can go either way. I'm not really sure, honestly, like who I like better. When you look at map counts, these are better at hardpoint, although London's really good at hardpoint as well. And then London's better at search and control. Both of these teams are decent at search and destroy, so that could really go either way. I'm not really sure. I think it depends who has the pick. I think London will have the map pick for control. So honestly, I'm going to give that to London in terms of the control. I think Thieves will probably take the hard points. I'm going to go Thieves 3-2. I think Thieves will clutch this up and they'll win 3-2 against London. I think this is going to be a very difficult run for Thieves. So I think this is going to be one of those teams that ends up making some solid runs and doing really well in this major. But with that being said, let's scroll on down to elimination round 3. So we have London versus Seattle. This is going to be a really good series. We just saw London obviously destroy Seattle online. We know Seattle did better at the kickoff on LAN. So I'm not really sure how I see this going. Personally, I think I'm going to give it to London. I think I'm going to give London a 3-1 over Seattle. I think Seattle will take the search, but I think London, maybe 3-2. I don't know. If it goes 3-2, I think Seattle win it. So I'm going to give the 3-1 to London. I feel like I underestimate London. I've underestimated them this whole season, and they've proved me wrong time and time again. So with that being said, I'm giving this to London in a 3-1. OpTic versus Ultra, another one of those matches, a good rematch. Obviously, OpTic 3-0'd Ultra recently. This is a tough one. I'm not really sure who I want to pick here. I think I'm going to give it to OpTic. I'm going to give it to OpTic 3-1. I think Ultra will win one of the hard points, and I think OpTic will win. Honestly, Ultra might win the first map, and then OpTic will win the next 3. I think Ultra wins a hard point, but OpTic just seems to be better control and search and destroy team so far this season. So I'm going to give it to OpTic 3-1. Then we come to elimination round for London versus OpTic. Now, this is probably one of the most well-balanced matchups we can see. I think London's a little bit better at, or a lot better, I think, at hardpoint record-wise. OpTic's a little better in search, and then they're even in control. So I do think this could go either way. I'm not really sure. I think I'm going to give it to OpTic. I mean, I am wearing a Huntsman shirt, right? So I probably might be a little biased just because I've been watching OpTic for so long. This could go either way, though. I think it'll be 3-1. I don't know. London did beat OpTic, though, in the stage. So I'm not really sure. Maybe I want to give it to London because I think this could go either way, right? Obviously, these are both probably top 4 teams right now in the league. Maybe top 5. This could go either way, but I don't really know. Both of these teams I have coming off a hot 3-1 versus very respectable teams in round 3 of elimination bracket. So it's definitely tough. I'm going to go with my gut. Honestly, I don't even know what my gut's telling me because my gut is telling me you usually overreact to OpTic and usually underreact to London, right? So I'm going to go London. I'm going to go London. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go London 3-2. I think London takes it in a search and destroy. I think just because London looked so good against OpTic in the beginning of the season, I'm going to give it to London. I'm just going to stick with it, and we're going to move right on before I start second guessing myself anymore. Then we have Thieves versus FaZe. I'm going to give this to FaZe. Probably 3-2. I think FaZe will take this in a 3-2 fashion. I think this will be a good series, but FaZe is just a really strong team, obviously. And then that brings us down to Thieves versus London, which is definitely a really good series. I'm gonna say Thieves win this 3-1. I think Thieves will just be coming hot off this loss. They'll be mad. They'll come out and they'll absolutely fry London, and I think their veteran experience will also help carry them in this series. And then we come right to the final, right? We have the grand finals. FaZe versus Thieves. A lot of people have this. This is what I originally thought when I mock made my bracket last week, and then I decided I'd wait to do this video because we don't know if any roster changes will come out, and changes still could come before the major actually starts, because I'm doing this on Tuesday and the major starts on Friday. But I'm gonna give this to FaZe. I feel like FaZe is an easy answer for this. I still think FaZe will win. 5-3 I think is what I'll go with. 5-3 I think is fair. I think Thieves will definitely take maps off of FaZe, but at the end of the day, nothing has shown me that FaZe isn't the best team in the league right now. They were great last year. They're 5-0 in the stage this year. It would be disrespectful for me to give it to anyone other than FaZe, so for that reason I have FaZe winning Major 1. So much for watching. If you did enjoy, drop a like and subscribe for more content. Let me know who you have, like I said, in the finals, and who you have winning. I have FaZe and Thieves. FaZe winning. Let me know what you have down below in the comments. I'm looking forward to reading all that. And with that being said, enjoy the major, and I'll see you all in the next video.